The morning presents itself as a new beginning, an opportunity to seek strength and protection amidst the uncertainties of the day. The morning prayer is a powerful moment to align our intentions and ask God to sustain us in every step we take. The strength we seek is not just physical. It is an inner fortress that allows us to face challenges with courage. The Bible is filled with examples of people who found strength in prayer. One of the most striking cases is that of the widow who presented herself before the prophet Elisha. She was in a desperate situation, without resources, afraid of losing her children to creditors. Only a small jar of oil remained in her house. This story teaches us that even when everything seems lost, God can transform what we have into abundance. The widow did not have to present riches or great offerings. She brought only what she had, even if it was little, and it was through her obedience and faith that God multiplied that small jar of oil, providing not only for her, but also for her family. It is in this context that prayer gains a special meaning. Asking God for strength is not just a matter of words, but a sincere surrender of our fears and insecurities. When we pray, we are acknowledging that alone, we cannot face everything. Trusting in His protection gives us a new perspective on difficulties. It is a reminder that we are not alone in our struggles. God is by our side, ready to support us. Divine protection is a recurring theme in the scriptures. In Psalms, we find the affirmation that God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. This certainty should accompany us every morning, upon waking, upon opening our eyes to a new day. It is essential to remember that we are under the care of a God who does not sleep and who cares about every detail of our lives. This is the foundation of our strength, the certainty that, regardless of adversities, we have a Father who protects us. Prayer is not just a request, it is also a declaration of faith. When we pray in the morning, we can declare that today we will walk in strength and protection. It is a way to align ourselves with God's will, asking Him to guide and strengthen us for the tasks ahead. Every small step we take when moved by this faith becomes a testimony of divine providence. Reflecting on the importance of morning prayer also leads us to consider how we can be instruments of God for others. Often, we are so absorbed in our own challenges that we forget to seek and offer support to those around us. The widow who turned to the prophet was not only seeking help for herself, but also for her family. The prayer for strength and protection should motivate us to reach out to those in need, to share this message of hope and encouragement. In a world full of uncertainties, finding moments to pause and pray may seem like a challenge, but it is precisely in those moments that we need divine strength the most. When we open our hearts in prayer, we invite God to enter our situations and help us see beyond what is immediate. He gives us new perspectives, renewing our strength and protecting us from all harm. Throughout the day, difficulties may arise in unexpected ways. A harsh word, a challenge at work, a worry about family. It is in those moments that prayer becomes an anchor, the reminder that strength does not come from us, but from God, can change the way we face each situation. When we feel weak, it is He who sustains us. When we feel fear, it is His protection that surrounds us. The journey of life is full of ups and downs, But the certainty that we are under God's protection encourages us to move forward. Just as the widow saw divine provision amidst scarcity, we can trust that even when everything seems dark, there is a light that guides us. By starting the day with a prayer, we declare that regardless of the challenges we will face, we will walk in strength and under God's protection. The morning is an invitation to renew this faith, to seek the strength that comes from Him, and to remind ourselves that with every step, we are not alone. Prayer is the first step to a day full of possibilities. May we then open our hearts and cry out for this strength and protection, allowing God to guide us in every moment. The widow, with her small jar of oil, teaches us that even when everything seems lost, God can work miracles. Her story echoes in our lives in ways we often do not perceive. Looking at the morning that begins, it is as if the day offers us a new jar, to be filled with the strength and protection we need. She had nothing but a little oil, but what seemed insignificant became the source of her provision. Thus, as we begin our day, we can ask ourselves, what do we have in hand? What is our small reserve? The strength we seek does not come from what we accumulate, but from what we choose to trust. The widow followed the prophet's instructions, and that obedience was the key that unlocked her blessing. This morning, it is essential to remember that action must accompany prayer. It is not enough to simply cry out for protection. We need to act in faith. What does this mean in our daily lives? It can be as simple as deciding to face a challenge that has long held us back, or even opening our hearts to new opportunities. Every step taken with courage is an act of faith. Divine protection is not a physical shield, but the certainty that regardless of what we face, we are not at the mercy of chance. It is in that moment when we wake up with worries that we must cling to prayer. A simple "God, I am here, I need you," can be the beginning of a transformation. Vulnerability becomes strength when we surrender it to God. Throughout the day, we may encounter situations that test our resilience, but morning prayer prepares us for these battles. Imagine facing a big decision at work. Doubt can be paralyzing, but by recognizing that God's protection is upon you, clarity begins to emerge. Trusting in God gives us the courage to move forward, even when the paths seem uncertain. The widow did not know how the oil would multiply. She just trusted and acted. This trust should be the driving force that propels us to continue, even when we do not have immediate answers. And when we talk about strength, we are not just referring to physical strength. Often, the true battle happens within us. Fears, insecurities, and uncertainties can make us hesitate. Recognizing that we have a God who protects and strengthens us is essential. The act of praying in the morning is not just a routine. It is a reminder that when we open our eyes, we have the opportunity to renew our strength. Every morning, we bring our struggles and challenges. Prayer becomes the bridge that connects us to that divine strength. Instead of getting lost in worries, we can channel that energy into concrete actions. If the widow had the courage to seek help and follow the guidance she received, we too can open ourselves to divine assistance. Perhaps today you need courage for a difficult conversation, or maybe wisdom to deal with a complicated situation. God's protection manifests in small details. Sometimes, an unexpected encounter, a kind word, or an idea that arises in a moment of silence are signs of His presence. Being attentive to these moments is an exercise of faith. It is like realizing that even in the small things, God is acting. This awareness brings peace, for we know that we are not alone, even when challenges seem great. Reflecting on the widow's story helps us understand that regardless of what we have, true wealth lies in faith. Prayer is a declaration that we choose to believe. By thanking for what we have, even if it is little, we open the doors for God to act in our lives. It is not just about asking, but recognizing the abundance that already exists around us. When we think of protection, we cannot forget that it also extends to our emotions. Stress and anxiety can divert us from the purpose God has for us. Morning prayer, therefore, is not just a request for strength, but an invitation to tranquility. By surrendering our fears and worries to God, we find space to breathe and act with clarity. The morning is an opportunity for a fresh start, and by praying, we are positioning ourselves for a day where strength and protection can accompany us. Every situation we face is an invitation to exercise our faith. Do not underestimate the power of a sincere prayer. It can be the factor that transforms an ordinary day into an extraordinary one. As the day progresses, the morning prayer may seem distant, but its impact remains. The strength we seek reveals itself in moments of decision, in small acts of kindness, in how we deal with setbacks. May we carry this strength with us, allowing God's protection to guide us in every step. Do not let the uncertainty of tomorrow interrupt your faith today. The morning has arrived, and with it, the opportunity to walk in strength and under God's protection. What will you do with this strength? The strength we seek is not only in great achievements, but in the small victories of everyday life. It is in simple interactions, in the decisions we make, and even in the difficulties we face, that we find the true essence of strength. Upon waking, take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, and acknowledge that, even in the face of challenges, there is a pulsating energy that can be accessed when we connect with God. Look around you. Every little detail can become a sign that God is present. A smile from someone, a kind word, or even the singing of birds. These moments are reminders that, regardless of the circumstances, divine protection is always by our side. The widow in the story, with her jar of oil, had little, but by obeying and trusting, she saw her needs being met. This is an invitation for you too. What do you possess? A talent, a skill, or even time to listen to someone? God can transform this into abundance. Obedience and trust are fundamental. It is not about making grand plans, but about taking small, firm steps. What can you do today that demonstrates your faith? Perhaps it is reaching out to someone in need of help, or even dedicating a few minutes in prayer, asking for strength and protection. Strength does not come from the absence of difficulties, but from the ability to face them with faith. Throughout the day, stay alert to opportunities to act in faith. It may be a moment of solidarity, an act of compassion, or simply a gesture of gratitude. Each of these actions is a declaration that you trust in God's provision, and by doing so, you not only strengthen yourself, but also inspire those around you. Divine protection manifests in the choices we make. When we decide to act with love and kindness, even in small gestures, we are creating an environment where God's presence can flow. Reflect on your own experiences. Have you ever faced moments when it seemed there was no way out? Like the widow, you may have felt resourceless, but it is in vulnerability that we often find the path to true strength. Prayer, in this context, becomes a powerful tool. By asking God to guide and protect you, you open yourself to receive what He has to offer. Prayer is not just a plea, but a declaration of faith that, even amidst uncertainty, you believe there is a greater purpose. Throughout the day, set aside time to pray. It can be upon waking, while having coffee, or even during a break at work. Use these opportunities to connect with God, asking for strength to face challenges and protection for yourself and those you love. Remember, prayer is a dialogue. Listen as well. Often, the answer comes in subtle forms, and you need to be attentive to perceive them. And when you feel strengthened, do not hesitate to share that strength with others. Your story can be a powerful testimony for someone going through difficulties. Speaking about how you found support in your faith can encourage others to seek divine strength and protection as well. The world needs more people who share light in dark times. The simple act of reaching out and offering support can change someone's day. God's protection is not just a promise, but a reality that manifests when we live in alignment with His will. By making decisions based on faith, we allow that protection to flow into our lives. The beauty of this is recognizing that we do not need to wait for great miracles. They happen every day, in small interactions and in the choices we make. As the day progresses, remain steadfast in your prayer. Let your faith serve as a shield, protecting you from doubts and fears. Look at your life and see how God has already acted. Every little moment is an opportunity to recognize His hand at work. And even when days seem dark, the strength you have cultivated and the protection you have asked for are powerful resources that can guide you through storms. Life is a gift, and each morning is a new chance to walk in strength and under God's protection. Today, as you go out, carry this certainty with you. No matter what the day brings, you are protected and strengthened. The morning prayer is not just a formality, but a commitment to live in trust and action. Do this and watch how your perspective changes. What will you do with this strength? The decision is yours. The morning has arrived, and with it, the opportunity to walk today in strength and under God's protection.